So we're spending our morning checking out some road cuts for garnet. The garnets here, it's like a scarred kind of occurrence. You can see the there's like this banding that kind of runs a little sideways down, and we're looking for these veins, and then we're looking for a loose material with hopefully some calcite on there that we can take back home and etch out to expose the garnet crystals. And you can also see there's a bit of like this green diopside-y pyroxene material. There you can sometimes get some nice little sharp dark green crystals as well. But you can see it kind of goes back there. There's a bit up there that also has some garnet in it, and the band kind of continues upwards. So we're gonna poke around. There's a couple road cuts that have this kind of scarring occurrence in this area, so we're gonna check it out and see if we can find anything interesting. So I was just poking around in there, just sifting through some of the material. I pulled out a couple handfuls of small pieces with some calcite on them, and that's the trick here. You want to just get pieces with a little bit of calcite, and they can have some nice Gemmy little garnets on them, but we want bigger pieces, so for hopefully bigger pieces of garnet. But you can see some of these definitely show some good promise. They'll all get taken home and etched out. Well, some of them. Some I'll just keep as is if the garnets are nice on the calcite, but that's what you're trying to look for. Big chunks of calcite with the green material with the red in the mix, and that will help you get your best chance at finding a nice garnet piece. So we got this vein here. It's full of nice little gemmy ones, but the issue is this vein is mostly full of quartz, so it won't etch out nicely. So if you wanted to get anything, you'd have to bash it out of here, which will be a pain in the butt. But so I thought, just, you know, screw it. There was a crack running along here that I noticed in the vein that I just showed you. And I had my buddy Tony just quickly chisel into that crack just to kind of force it open. It turns out behind this quartz vein, there's a bit of a calcite pocket. And it pulled out this piece with some half-decent little garnets. Some good color. There's some damaged ones in there, but once I etch the calcite away, it won't be as big as a deal, and we'll see how it looks. But that's pretty good. I like those gemmy ones in there. That's fun. And then on top of that, there was this little gemmy one that rolled out. Look at those nice sharp sides. Very cool. So Tony's just bashing into the top of a garnet vein here. He nicked off a little bit of the corner already, and you can see there's some really nice shiny garnets there. And I believe this is in calcite matrix. It looks like calcite and not quartz. So hopefully he can bust off a couple more pieces and he'll have some nice stuff to take home and etch. But you can see that lovely gemmy Hessonite garnet. Another nice one popped out. Plus this really promising vein piece. You can see there's diopside and garnet in there. So that'll be good. We're just kind of working away at it, trying to loosen what we can, and it's working pretty well so far. Yeah, maybe just move more material to make our lives easier. Yeah. So, yeah, we managed through teamwork, through tapping out and taking breaks. I think this piece is going to come off, but I think that piece will have some good stuff. Yeah, there's definitely at least some garnets in there.
Okay, now the big reveal. Give me this.
Yeah, if you take that. So this big piece came off. There's definitely garnets along there, and I can see in here, if you look in there, remove this out of the way, there's garnets along the edge. So taking this whole chunk home is a smart idea, because what you can do is, if this is mostly calcite by the looks of it, we just take it home, etch it out, and then the garnet seems to sometimes just form on one side, so you might get one real nice plate of garnets. And then you can see here on the edge where we were busting, you see this calcite is just filled with tiny little garnets and
What kind of garnets are those?
These are Hessonite garnets.
Gotcha.
So Tony pulled out some more material just from the edges, some loose stuff that we chiseled. Some loose stuff that he chiseled off, and there's some, you can see there's some nice Hessonite garnets in that, and there's some diopsides, some more garnets, some nice Gemmy stuff from here. We're just cleaning up and packing up. We might go to do there's a couple quartz cuts in the area, so we might go to the ones, so we might go to those and just check those out. If not, we might just move on to another spot that we're thinking of. But we did pretty good. We got some good stuff. So we're just gonna pack up our stuff. Look at all those Gemmy garnets. There's gonna be some good ones in there. So I'm about to put some of the specimens that I collected at this road cut with my friend in an acid bath. We've got some smaller stuff that I'm gonna put in just a little tub with some vinegar, something a little less aggressive, because I have a feeling these won't hold up well, so I don't want to etch away all the calcite. I want some left behind just to kind of give it stability, basically. But then these I'm less worried about, or don't really care and want to just etch away as much as possible. So we're gonna do that. So let's throw them in, and you guys will see the after, basically, after the acid bath. The big one that we collected will also get thrown in an acid bath, but that will be done separately. Here are some of the finished products after the acid baths. The big one, unfortunately, didn't turn out to be much. Some of the matrix there is like garnet diopside mixed in with calcite, so it's a very fine sandy grain matrix. You can kind of see it on this piece, on the back here. This matrix on the back of this piece is that fine-grained material, and it tends to just disintegrate, which means anything on it tends to fall off if there's anything good, and a lot of the time this matrix isn't conducive to good large garnets. So I did find one piece that had like a nice cluster, but it turned out it was hollow on the inside, like there was calcite that had filled on the inside, and so I put it down at one point, and then I came back later and it like tilted over and the whole thing had disintegrated. I'll throw up a video. There was one video I took of it before it disintegrated. But as far as the pieces that I did collect go, this one is one of the better ones. This whole section is just chock full of garnets. If we could get a nice proper zoom. There we go. Lots of garnets. And this section has got some decent sized ones, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's not the most aesthetic piece. I'll probably actually trim it off here, so I just have this section, because this section is interesting enough to look at. A lot of the pieces kind of look like this, where the garnet crystals are a bit lumpy and melted and fused together, and these pieces have some damage to them, so they're not perfect. But this is kind of the general gist of a lot of the stuff that I ended up taking home and etching out. Now this one, there was a lot more diopside on this to begin with, but it kind of just was very fractured to begin with, so it crumbled away as it was etched out. And it did expose a couple nice garnet crystals, including this little decent sized one here. Not super aesthetic because it's all kind of clumped together and clustered together, but that's a decent little sharp one, so I can't complain. Some of the pieces are really small, but still very nice. This one's like a nice little triple cluster of crystals. If the camera could properly focus for once. There we go. It's got 3 garnet crystals stacked on top of each other, basically. I think I showed this one in the video, but this is a nice little sharp one that kind of rolled out of some calcite as we were collecting that day. Some nice sharp faces. Then we got a bunch of small ones, which I did in fact take some close-up pictures of. What I'll do is after I'm done showing you guys these, I'll I'll do a little bit of a slideshow of some close-ups of some specimens. I got ones with some nice like mix of diopside and garnet, and then some that are just garnet. This is a fun little one. The garnets are quite small, they're kind of very druzy, and that's what I experience with most of the pieces, where I just get these like druzy masses of garnets. But this one's cool because it's got two nice decent sized, decent formed diopside crystals up here. Or pyroxene is probably the safer bet, but they're most likely diopside. Just knowing the occurrence that these come from, diopside is kind of the pyroxene of prevalence in those formations. But as you can see, the garnets are quite small and very kind of just druzy and clustered together, and then the diopside kind of just grows in with it. Another lovely Gemmy piece. These crystals are a little bigger and a little more well formed, so it makes for a nice little thumbnail specimen. Not any really big crystals, which is, you know, my goal, but still a nice little thumbnail. And similar to this one I think I'm gonna get it trimmed. I'm gonna trim it up a little bit later on. But this one is another one of those where there's nice masses of crystals, but they're not well formed. A lot of the stuff seems to be kind of melted, and then once in a while you get pockets of nice sharp stuff, and kind of depends on like where in the veins you find this material. You'll find little pockets of it. I'll also throw up some videos and pictures, hopefully, of some of the stuff my friend Tony brought home with himself. He found a couple very nice aesthetic pieces that I think are the stars of the show, in my opinion, and I'm pretty happy that he did find those. They'll be nice additions to his growing mineral collection. Now, I thought I'd show you a couple more examples of things that you could find here. These have come from a previous trip. I'll throw a link to a link in the description below to that trip. This is a nice large garnet that I found. It was literally just sitting in the dirt as I was digging through a kind of a crack, and it kind of just rolled out. So that was a lovely little find. It's got some smaller garnets stacked on it, but it is one larger garnet crystal. So my hope was to find like one this size on Matrix, but you can't win them all. And I can't complain. I still found some awesome stuff, and my friend Tony found some awesome stuff too, so that's all that matters. And then here's another one. This is probably my favorite that I've collected from this location. Though the garnet crystals aren't super well formed, they still have a decent shape to them, and the luster on them is just spectacular. And it's a lovely, solid, kind of small plate of garnets, so I can't complain. I've had better luck before, so no matter how my luck is at this location, I know I have some awesome specimens from this location. But of course, there's always that hope, that chasing of that one super spectacular piece. But with that, let's get to the slideshow. Let's just show off some of those specimens as we go. They were quite interesting. Some had a nice combination, like I said, of diopside and garnets, and then others were just garnets. And you can kind of see the structures of the garnets and stuff, and it's nice. The different colorations, the crystal forms, everything. Even the small micro stuff under the microscope is quite spectacular to look at. But this brings us to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for your support. If you haven't already and you're new to this channel, please do consider dropping a like and subscription, and also hit that notification bell while you're around, because that definitely does help. And thank you folks for just supporting me and watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.